what are some of those tools, just some simple tools that we can use in our everyday lives that can help move us towards peace in our relationships?
I'm going to start with something that might be surprising for most people, and that is not about the speaking, but about the listening. Mediators are master listeners. What we're listening for is not what the average person is listening for. Too often when we're listening to people, we're listening through our filters. We're listening for the opportunity to jump in and say what we want to say for our agendas. We're thinking about our interests. It is the root problem of humanity to be self-centered. If we're God-centered, then we're other-centered. But our root problem is that we often listen from that human self-centeredness.
Right.
And so it keeps us from listening like a mediator. And listening like a mediator means I'm listening to truly understand your perspective.
Yeah.
I know mine really well.
Right.
Okay? And I don't really have to be afraid that I can defend it because I generally know my own personal interests and what I want, again, really well.
Yeah.
What we really don't know is where someone else is coming from. So we have to listen with a heart to understand someone else. We have to listen for not how someone can meet our needs, but what is that person's need? And especially as a Christian, God calls us to love one another and to love each other as we love ourselves. And in order to do that, that means I have to care about meeting your needs as much as my needs. So I have to push aside that self-centeredness, that base human desire, and say, I'm going to listen to you, to understand you, to hear what your need is, and to see how God can use me to help meet your need. Whether that's to make you feel that you're listened to, feel that you're important or valued, to solve a real everyday problem for you, to offer you resources, and even in a conflict that where it seems as if you possibly have sinned against me, to see, is it in response to in something that some way that you feel I've sinned against you? We have to always be open to that. We have to be asking the question, God, search my heart. Show me if there's any wickedness in me. And so I would say to people, first and foremost, recognize you're by base nature not a good listener because you're selfish.
Yeah.
I'm selfish, okay? We have to push that aside and consciously choose to care about the other person, listen from that place of need. And also, listening from that place of need allows us to get a full picture and perspective, to actually write down your needs and my needs, gives us a chance to look at it as not you are the problem or I am the problem. There is a problem. There is a problem. There are issues. Conflict is merely a signal that something needs to change. It's not a signal that someone is wrong or evil. It's a signal that there needs to be change. Sometimes, yes, a person needs to make changes, but most of the time, it is both people need to make changes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so we need to stop and, again, not be self-centered and self-righteous and think it's all the other person, but open up our hearts and our minds and say, God, show us the problem, not the problem that person has, but the problem, and help us to come up with solutions and work it out.
Yeah.
And that mindset, that change in listening, that listening from a different place in our heart will help us to produce and to generate creative ideas that can help us. We also have to, it also is an issue of faith. Problem solving and being a peacemaker means you got to have faith. Some people say, I have faith in humanity. I have faith in people. So if someone's listening and they don't have faith in God, which I don't know how you can have faith in people if you don't have any faith in God.
Wow.
Because
Yeah.
people are inherently selfish and self-centered, as I said.
Yeah.
I can't have a lot of faith in that. Yeah. I have faith in the God in people, in the part of them that connects with the greater good, which is God. But you got to have faith in God and his creativity that's in people. God is so creative. Look around us, the different species that he created. Those that we see above the earth are less than what is in the water. There's actually more life forms under the water than what we see on the earth.
Wow.
It's mind-boggling.
Yeah.
The creativity of our God is amazing, and we're made in his image. So that creativity that he's given us is not just to create in the sense of making something, but also to solve problems. And so we need to have faith that we can come up with solutions, that they're there. God has a solution. In fact, he's got multiple. And we have the opportunity to choose the best one, the God one. Not, is there an answer? There's always an answer. And if we can have that outlook, we will not be fearful of engaging in conflict. And there's too much fear associated with conflict.
Absolutely.